Wow, these lights are bright. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see there's a lot of energy in the room, even if today there's no champagne. But it's exciting to be here for our second day of the AI Forum. To kick this off officially, let me just go through some protocols. So, buongiorno, good morning, bienvenue à toutes et à tous. Welcome to the second day of the sixth edition of the Canada-Italy AI Forum, focused on nurturing our well-being with artificial intelligence. For those of us joining today, my name is Enrico Davide Cremonese. I'm a VP of Product with Ivado Labs, one of the leading AI startups in Canada. And I'll be glad to be your master of ceremonies today. We have a lot to cover, and first exciting session, our panelists and our moderator are already on stage. To introduce this, let me just say that the first topic will be Horizon Europe, new and emerging opportunities. We heard a bit about this program yesterday, and today we'll be able to dive into it much deeper. Horizon Europe is the EU's key funding program for research and innovation, aiming to foster collaboration across borders and sectors to address pressing global challenges. It is endowed with a budget of 95.5 billion euro for the period in which the program runs, and it supports projects in areas such as health, climate change, energy, and digital technologies. As of this year, Canada is officially, I would say, not just allowed, but invited to participate in this program, opening up a wealth of opportunities for Canadian researchers, innovators, and businesses to collaborate with businesses across Europe. This collaboration can enhance our ability to tackle shared global challenges, drive innovation, and contribute to sustainable development and innovation on a global scale. So with this panel, we'll explore how we can leverage Horizon Europe to strengthen ties and create impactful partnerships. I'll now pass it over to Luigi Scarpa de Masellis, Senior Advisor, Economic and Commercial Affairs for the Delegation of the European Union to Canada. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Very glad to be here today. Just waiting for the presentation to come on screen. So what I will provide you with is basically an overview of Horizon Europe very quickly. We started late, so I won't delve too much into it. And discuss briefly also the recent development, a game changer, I would say, the association of Canada to Horizon Europe and the opportunities that opens up for Canada to participate in a much more integrated way in this program. And then I'll hand over the floor to my other colleagues to discuss perhaps their specific experience with the program from their perspective. So I'll start with providing you a little bit of a policy context, how we got to this point. So the first time that the Association of Canada was envisaged was at the EU-Canada Summit in 2021. That's where the decision to basically start exploratory talks was taken. Then in 2022, very positive discussions continued in the context of our joint Science and Technology Cooperation Committee, where we discuss our joint research and innovation priorities under the S&T agreement. At the same time, Canada also introduced a very important mechanism, dedicated funding mechanism for their researchers to be able to participate in Horizon projects. The first chunk was for Horizon 2020, the second one for Horizon Europe. That also contributed very much to Canada enhancing their participation. And then, of course, when Horizon Europe, the program was launched, there was this new provision whereby the possibility of association was enlarged to countries that are not necessarily in the geographical proximity of the EU. So with countries that have similar levels of research capabilities, are key strategic partners, and obviously Canada from the get-go was an obvious candidate, and they immediately signaled their interest. So 2 years of basically negotiations ensued a year and a half, and then they were successfully concluded in November 2023, where they were announced at the EU-Canada Summit. And further to that, of course, the agreement was signed in Montreal a few months ago in July. We had Commissioner Ivanova and Minister Champagne signed the agreement. So now Canada is fully integrated in Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe, so because the association concerns Pillar 2. Very briefly, what is Horizon Europe? Well, it's the largest single research and innovation program in the world, 95.5 billion euros over 7 years. We're midway through now, as it will conclude in 2027. That's about 140, I would say, almost 150 billion Canadian in today's exchange rate. So I'll go a bit faster on these introductory slides. Yes, this is an interesting slide because it gives you really a snapshot of the program itself. As you can see, it's 3 main pillars. It reproduces basically the structure of Horizon 2020. So Pillar 1, that's called Excellent Science. That's basically bottom-up individual grants. And the main instruments there, the main mechanisms are the European Research Council grants and the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. So the European Research Council grants are for groundbreaking research. They're very prestigious, very difficult to get, and very generous. Now, I won't get into the details of the various grants, but for you to know. And Canada has been relatively successful as a third country in getting these grants. And there's the Marie Sklodowska-Curie action, which is the main mobility instrument for researchers. Again, Canada has been very successful in taking advantage of the opportunities there. Of course, in Pillar 1, funding has never been an issue and continues to be. There continue to be no changes in terms of funding there. So Canadians or researchers based in Canada can apply for funding and receive funding. Then we have Pillar 2, and Canada is now associated to Pillar 2. Pillar 2 is the one focusing on global challenges and includes 6 clusters that are listed there. This is where collaborative research takes place between teams of researchers. And that's where the greatest advantages are, really. That's where we want to open up our collaboration with Canada. And now, given Canada's association, Canadian researchers are in a position to receive funding directly to participate in these projects under Pillar 2. And then finally, there's also Pillar 3, focusing more on innovation. There I just mentioned the European Innovation Council. There's a program that is also potentially of interest to Canadian SMEs. But overall, that's probably the pillar that is more, let's say, domestically geared. Yes, so as I mentioned before, Horizon Europe provides this new opportunity for enhanced international cooperation, and association to Horizon Europe was open to third countries with good capacity in science, technology, and innovation. So that's what justifies where we are today. Here, I would just like to underscore that there are 20 countries now associated to Horizon Europe. So you can see Canada is in pretty good company. Most of the countries there, as I mentioned before, are in the geographic vicinity of the EU, neighboring countries. But as you can see, now New Zealand has also associated, actually before Canada, only to Pillar 2. And Korea as well for Pillar 2. And currently in the process of association, Japan, Morocco, Singapore, and Switzerland. In terms of funding, this just to give you an idea how countries, how you can get funding under Horizon Europe. Well, there are countries that are automatically eligible for EU funding, called the beneficiaries, and there's low and middle income countries. There's a very large list of basically the developing countries that get funding to participate in these projects. And obviously countries associated to Horizon Europe, because countries associated to Horizon Europe contribute to the budget of Horizon. So Canada is now part of that group. Then there's also non-associated third countries not eligible for EU funding. And Canada was previously part of this group, where it could receive funding, normally would not receive funding, but it could receive funding based on exceptions, whereby the participation of the Canadian entity was deemed to be absolutely essential to the success of a project, or if it was specified in certain topic calls. Or, again, if co-funding mechanisms were put in place by partners. So Canada also at some point, as I mentioned to you, with the Horizon Global Platform that was introduced by the granting councils, was able to take advantage of that. Obviously now with association, that instrument is not necessary anymore because the funding can be obtained directly from the EU Commission. Also, an interesting aspect to look at is that some of targeted international cooperation actions were introduced and are part of the work program of 23 to 2024, which is the current work program of Horizon Europe. The work program includes basically all the rationales and the calls themselves. So if you want to basically consult what the program can offer, you look into the work program, and there's a work program for each cluster under Pillar 2. So we're currently in this phase. We're at the end of this phase, work program 2023-2024. And why do I signal it? Because at the time that it was drafted and published, Canada was still a third country. Canada was still not associated. So there are calls there that explicitly target Canada. Canada is mentioned in the call. This will change, obviously, going forward, because Canada being an associated country, it's not a country that is outside the program anymore. So all the calls will, in principle, concern Canada. Yes, so I'll move on from this. This I've discussed. These I've briefly discussed at the beginning. These are the Pillar 1 main instruments, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions and the European Research Council grants. If you have questions afterwards, I can answer these. This I can skip. This is particularly interesting. Now, the next set of slides, I normally don't delve too much into them, but these are interesting because they basically identify calls that specifically target cooperation with Canada and by cluster. And since this is the AI forum, well, Cluster 4 is the one in Pillar 2 that deals with AI. And you can see that these topics have calls in the work program that specifically target Canada. So I just see there efficient, trustworthy AI, making the best of data. Then a support facility for digital standardization and international cooperation in digital partnerships, and explainable and robust AI, which means that if you go in the work program and you identify those topics, then there will be a number of calls that pertain to those specific topics, and those target Canada. Now, as I mentioned, we are at the end of this period, so the deadlines might all have already passed, but some might still be open. Some of them also are, let's say, drag on to 2025. So that is an interesting point to note. I won't delve into the other clusters, but then again, just to give you a sense of how many of these topics actually target Canada in the various clusters of Pillar 2. And by the way, I should again emphasize that Canada is not emphasized. It doesn't mean that it's not open to Canada. Obviously, it is open to Canadian participation. All the calls, except a few exceptions where some of them might be restricted in certain areas for national security areas, security reasons, competitiveness reasons. Yes, I will skip with this. Then again, a little bit on the mechanics, but perhaps our colleagues will also touch on these points. How do you join a consortia under Horizon Europe? Well, there's a minimal configuration. So you have to have at least 3 participants, 3 entities from 3 countries. And it has to be at least 1 partner from an EU member states and another 2 additional partners, which can be either from another member state or an associated country. Now, in the past, before Canada was associated, that meant Canada plus 3. Now, Canada being an associated member, an associated country, that means Canada plus 2. So to form a minimal or to join a minimal consortia, you would just need either another member state, an associated country, or 2 other member states. I've provided quite a few information sessions across Canada, Canadian universities, and also private sector stakeholders. And one of the questions that comes up is, you know, if we don't have already established networks within the EU, how do we do that? How do we find partners? Well, obviously, the first thing is to leverage the experience that you have within your own institution. If you have that, obviously you're a step ahead. But if you don't have that, the main, let's say, portal for Horizon Europe is the funding and tenders portal, where there's a database of participants, past and present, and you basically can look into it based on your area of specialization and try to see how other potential partners that have participated or are involved currently in projects, which could be potentially contacted if you'd like to, you know, put up a proposal with them. So there is that possibility. So I mentioned the funding and tenders portal. This is just a snapshot of what it looks like, and there's many tools at your disposal on the website. Again, we don't have the time to go into this right now. These are other resources that are available. And then I would just want to close on basically underscoring what are the main benefits of Canada's association to Horizon Europe. So first of all, there's the prestige of participating in the deepest possible way in Horizon Europe. You have access to all the EU, the 27 member states, plus the other 19 associated countries, research landscape, institutions, infrastructures. Entities of an associated country immediately have the same rights and obligations as entities of EU member states. No additional requirements are imposed. As I said, you're part of a consortium. You apply with your partners. And that's it. You don't have to look for alternative sources of funding domestically. Then association also, obviously, as a result, there's no additional administrative or financial arrangements needed for participation, again, which was the case in the past. An interesting development is also that a Canadian entity can take on the role of coordinator of a project. That again, I've sensed that there is some interest on taking that on, but there's also a capacity question there to be addressed, as it requires a strong, let's say, administrative support to be able to coordinate these projects. These Horizon Europe projects are usually quite large with many participants. On average, we're talking, 8 to 10 at least. I mean, you can have smaller ones, but they're usually large. So what I've said, maybe in the first instance, in the first, let's say, years of this association, you want to perhaps first start to be involved as a partner, see what a coordinator does, learn from that experience, and then take it on once you understand what are all the responsibilities that are involved in taking on that, which is, of course, a lot of visibility, prestige, but a lot of non-research work involved. And then finally, I would like to mention that there's a support structure in place, put in place by Canada, by the federal government, by ICED, and it's a network of national contact points. These are people, colleagues who are in a position to specifically help researchers who are interested in applying. They have specific expertise on the various clusters of Pillar 2. So there's about 15 of them, coordinated by a coordinator, and they're all housed within ICED, and they're up and running now. So I'll close it here, and I'll pass the floor now to Valentina Bugani. She's responsible for training and skills at the IRCCS. So over to you.
Thank you. It doesn't work, my presentation.
No.
No. This is not mine. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for being today. I'm truly honored to be here and join the Canada-Italy Forum on AI to share the experience we are doing in IRCCS Dino Amadori. Our is an Italian research institute in oncology and oncohematology field, so in health, Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe. I'm the Training and Skills Development Manager, and today I would like to share with you our experience. We have developed a new organizational system that is called Integrated Competencies System that is included some tools that are interconnected. Competence map, in which we have mapped all competencies of our healthcare professional, technical professional, organizational, relation, and also managerial. And every skill is clearly described with activities and specific behavior. A competence profile, we have both expected skill profiles, both current skill profile. So if there is a gap between now and the future, we can design a training path to develop these skills. And then 2 training dossiers, individual training dossier for single professionals and group training dossier. And why we developed this system? Because it's very important now have a prediction of future roles and future skills. So we can design specific training paths for our professionals, but not only. Our program has already made a big impact. In fact, 94% of our employees has a complete profile of competencies and a specific training path. And this is a kind of first Italian experience in healthcare. But now, which is our experience in Horizon Europe. Our commitment in training and in skills doesn't stop in Italy. So we believe in learning and collaborating internationally. So we have joined an Erasmus Plus project with 8 oncology centers in all Europe. We did an European survey. We wrote a scientific paper. We developed the radioligand therapy academy platform. There is a set of online modules to train healthcare professionals. And then we also launched an exchange program of our professionals, and 43 professionals had the opportunity to visit the other center to learn in the field new methodologies and new technologies. And the feedback was very positive, and the experience was good for everyone. So today, there is a very big opportunity also for Canada to join Horizon Europe. I know it seems very complicated because it's necessary understand very well European law and also for administrative procedures, but we have the experience to help you. So we have a very strong international network. We have a large scale experience in multidisciplinary and multi-professional projects. We have a lot of experience in managing administrative procedures. So we are ready to share our knowledge and our experience with you. And so I hope this is only the first step for a very strong collaboration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Valentina. Now, next presentation is from Ilaria Bortone. She's the technical director of the MISTRAL Horizon Europe project.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'll try to keep it short. I'll briefly introduce myself. So my name is Ilaria Bortone. I'm a biomedical engineer. I'm the technical coordinator of the MISTRAL project, which is an EU-funded project, but I'm also a program manager at Meditech Competence Center. And I'm the co-founder of a non-profit association that is managing actually the Horizon project along with other partners. So I will briefly introduce how we get to the funded project. So basically, we start from the very beginning. I try to make it really simple. As my colleagues told you, it seems really complicated. It is, but it's also very simple if you have clear your mind and you know what you would like to do. So briefly, we start with the identification. So the call set out the key challenges and expected activities that they want the researcher to carry out. So basically, that is your starting point. Reading the work program and understanding what the Commission is expecting from you. So after that, you start looking for the partnership. So you reach out to potential partners that have the competencies that you not have, and you share with them the concept idea based on the key challenges and the expected outcomes that the Commission set out. Then you start to define the work plan when you have gathered together all the people that you think are sufficient to get involved in the project. And so you define the action plan that helps achieving the goals that you have set. I think that we worked, for the budget at the very end of the proposal, because you need to distribute the effort between the different activities that you want to carry out. So it's really, really important that you define your work plan and then you assign the budget. I mean, you can have an overview for each partner, but basically, once you have defined the work plan, you can decide what kind of budget is necessary to carry out that kind of activity. And so then you go through the final step of the revision of the proposal, and you get ready to apply for the funding. All this process, it took us more or less than 7 months when we started this journey that for us started more than at least 3 years ago. And the overall process basically lasts 1 year and a half. So from the launch of the call from the Commission, Then you have between 5 and 6 months to apply for the funding. After you have applied, the Commission always took at least 6 months to evaluate your project and give you the results. And then there is a phase which is called the grant agreement preparation, where the Commission starts discussing with you the adjustment that you have to make on your proposal in order to make that feasible for receive the funding. So if you get approved, then there is also another 6 months to adjust the grant and then sign it with the Commission. What are the key points of an Horizon proposal? Basically, you start with the consortium. You have to, as the introduction, so you need to have at least 3 partners that are from the 3 different EU countries or associated countries. And then you define, there are different types of actions. So you can have projects that are based on research and innovation action, which usually have a different funding rate. So research and innovation action get funded at 100%, while innovation action that are more focused on the process of innovation receive a funding rate of the 70%. The Commission also set out the budget, so the total amount they expected for that specific call. So at the beginning, when you apply for a proposal, you already know how much does it cost the overall project, because the Commission told you. And then they, as I mentioned before, they define the outcomes and the activities. So basically, they give you an idea of the scope of the expected outcomes and the expected activities that you have to reach, with that minimum of activities and outcomes that you have to achieve. What they value? There are 3 main points. The first one is the excellence. So this is really, really important in terms of clarity and pertinence of the objective and ambitious, and also in terms of soundness of the proposal. So this is the very first part of your proposal, and so this is what they value the most. Then there is the impact, so the credibility of the pathway that you set to achieve the outcomes and the impacts of the call, especially in relationship with the priorities of the Commission and other initiatives. And for example, these specific criteria values most in terms of threshold or in terms of scoring that the Commission can give you for the innovation action. So they can give more scores to this point in some specific type of action. And then there is the quality and efficiency, which is basically the work plan. So the quality and the capacity and the effectiveness of the program of the different activities that you proposed, the risk, and also the appropriateness of the effort. And then also they value the capacity and the role of each partner. So each partner needs to be important for the proposal. Otherwise, the Commission would not value the fact that you have included people that do not participate actively to the proposal. I'll just move a little bit closer to the context of the MISTRAL project. So we are moving in the Pillar 2 in the under the cluster health, but basically MISTRAL belongs to the context of the environment health actions that the Commission has set out in order to address this big problem. These are just some of the projects, the numbers that you see are the amount of millions that the Commission has, the millions of them that the Commission has already spent in this kind of actions. And basically they start from these key facts. So almost 20% of all deaths in Europe are related to environmental factors, and more than 400,000 premature deaths every year in the European Union are due to air pollution. So the environment is a really significant determinant of some of the top causes of death in Europe, like heart disease and stroke. And so that's the reason why the European Commission invests so much in this kind of topic, which embraces really different calls and also different clusters among the Pillar 2, more than 1.8 billion. And in one of these calls, we addressed the project MISTRAL got funded Basically, the call asked us to improve the calculation of the socioeconomic costs and the related benefit of the health impact associated to environmental stressor. And we came out with the idea that we wanted to create a digital toolkit for urban health impact assessment and intervention using a multimodal language convolutional model. We go through the project among 4 objectives that we want to reach, and these objectives are developed through three different case studies that we are now running in 3 different cities that are mentioned here. So Taranto in Italy, Astelgenk in Belgium, and Rybnik in Poland. The specific objectives are to develop AI-driven scores to predict the quality of life adjusted per year and the presence of black carbon in cross-sectional studies, to test and validate and calibrate AI-generated score for mortality and disability adjusted life year for year, to develop machine learning forecasting model to predict and project outcomes, and to develop this forecasting model to predict So to create a dashboard to make this forecasting model for a counterfactual analysis in order to have this impact assessment. This is the consortium. We are 12 partners distributed in 7 different countries. There are 2 partners that are focused on social sciences. So we involved basically partners from the health sector with the technological partner because we have a lot of AI, with partners from the social science because we have to estimate economic cost, but also to work with community engagement and to the people. And I will close my presentation with this big value of the participation to Horizon. So besides having received the funding for the MISTRAL project, we then entered in a cluster. So basically the Commission asked us to cluster with the other projects that were funded under the same call because it was that kind of call was believed it was important for the results that each project could achieve in terms of environment and health policies. And so they gather us in a cluster called Meteor, where basically we work together in joint activities in order to increase the diffusion and the dissemination and communication of our results, but also gather the key outcomes of each project in order to have an overview and set out the new guidelines for environment and health policies. So I have concluded my presentation. I think that the questions are at the end, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Ilaria. Next up is Sauro. Sauro, you have less than 5 minutes, but I think we can go.
5 minutes, so I try to do my best to go faster. But first of all, I would like to say thank you to the organizer of this event because we enjoyed a lot the meeting of yesterday and also let's say the networking that we had, and we enjoy Montreal. So thank you to the Italian Chamber of Commerce for the organization of this event. Thank you so much. It seems it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. In the mail I received for the presentation, there was written that to say some word about me, but I would just to say that I'm computer scientist and research since 20 years. So I participated in the framework program 7 and then in Horizon 2020 and now in Horizon Europe. I had some entrepreneurial activity. I'm just saying this because I received funding also as a startup, so it doesn't matter the size of your company. You can join the Horizon program even if you are a startup. Then I'm the cluster manager of the health cluster of Emilia-Romagna. I am a project evaluator for the European Institute of Technology and board member of the Council of European Bioregion. The cluster is part of the regional ecosystem of Emilia-Romagna. We are 11 clusters. There are 4 clusters here. We are coordinated by Arthur, and is a very vibrant ecosystem that we have in our region. So we work as a quadruple helix organization. So we have a research organization, companies, the healthcare system, and also the representative of the end user that in our case are patient associations. So all these are member of our cluster, and we are working and collaborating in working group on medtech, pharmaceutical or regenerative medicine, and digital health, of course. So now we are involved in 8 ongoing European projects on the setup of a database for biomaterials, on technologies for the next generation telecommunication applied to smart cities and telemedicine, where we involved our members, Data River, and also the Cluster Innovate is part of this project. And we have a project secure on radiopharmaceuticals, where we involved also the Cancer Institute of Meldola and the Italia Energy Agency. And we have other inclusive projects on where we involve our patient association on Alzheimer's disease and a startup incubator. So we are looking for new solutions for the inclusive and accessible tourism in the Romagna coast, close to the city of Rimini. And then we won 3 projects. Sorry, we don't have the logo because we just received the information that we get funding 1 month ago. So we have to start the project. In the next days, we will have the kickoff meeting of those 3 projects. But I would like to mention just one of them that is the biggest that we have, 22 million of budget, lot of European partners. And we are in this project because the network that I mentioned before, CIBER. So it's very important to have very good relation with the stakeholders. This project is important also because we have half of the budget, 11 million for the cascade funding. So we can fund other companies and other institutions through this mechanism of cascade funding. So, but more important of our project, there are the project of our members. So I told you we are 180 members. And thanks to the some tools we can monitor. This is a tool that made by Arter, our development agency, that are monitoring the project that we have in our region in the healthcare sector. For example, in this case, you can read we have 80 projects in the healthcare sector funded by the Horizon program that our members are working in. But there is also, if you are not interested only in our region, there is also a very good tool from the European Commission that can say how many projects are active in the different regions, in which program, in which field. So here I just have some slide related to the project that our member has in the field of artificial intelligence linked to the healthcare system, digital twin, in silico trial, precision medicine, and so rehabilitation, social health, inclusion. There's a lot of those projects that we have. I think the slide can be available to you after this meeting. My take-home message is this. So start in advance in partnering, maybe with 2-3 partners. Yeah, the minimum are 3 partners, but in the Horizon project, I would say 6, 7, 8 partner is the minimum to have a very good consortium. So you have to build a good team with sometimes the team is more important than the idea itself. So you have to start to talk 1 year before the call. And I would say to be informed. We are very lucky in our region because we have this informative system done by Arter that is informing every organization in the region. I think they are providing this service also to other regions, so I would suggest to set up a service like this. And my last slide is just to mention my team because nothing is possible without them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sauro. I think we're beyond our allotted time, but perhaps we have one time for a question. At least from my side, I'm particularly interested in the Canadian angle, so I was wondering, from your specific perspective, if you've had this collaboration, how do you assess the collaborations with Canadian stakeholders, and how do you think, again, from your perspective, we can help our Canadian friends take advantage of this huge opportunity of association, where a lot of political capital has been invested in making this happen, so we want to see a strong uptake of Canadian participation. So I throw that to you, and if you have any thoughts.
I think we are in area. I would say that, yeah, it's difficult to join the Horizon project, but Yeah, there are some strong points, some very strong points. First of all, you receive cash in advance. This is a very important thing for the companies that are interested in joining this project. Yes, there are some bad things related to the administrative issue, but there are also good consultants, I would say. So if you don't feel confident with this part, there are some good consultants that can help in this, and you can join project through their support.
I think I may add that on what Sauro said, which I totally agree with, is the fact that I mean, this opportunity like this one that we participate is also an occasion to get to know each other and also start collaborating. I had the opportunity to visit 2 centers yesterday. No, 2 days ago, and I was impressed by the fact that I think I see so many connection points between us and in Canada. For example, all the topic that addresses climate change and adaptation, but also the cities that we are living in, which is one of the topics we are working on. I think there is great opportunity for partnership, and this is something we are going to talk about in the working groups, because we are now drafting a proposal on the next call on the horizon, and on one of the missions that belongs also to the Pillar 2. So I think that it will be great if we get the opportunity to work with Canada in this part, also to make a comparison between our countries and yours.
Yeah, I agree with my colleague. Remember that there are in health, for example, 80 million euro of fundings. So it's a challenge, but it's a very, very big opportunity and to take now. And we can grow together and share our experience. So could be an experience, training also for us and also for your organizations.
Yeah, and from my side, I can again underscore, from the institutional side, the importance of the instruments we have at hand. I mentioned the national contact points. They've been established in February, so now they're up and running. They're a very good resource. As I said, there's 1 or more NCPs for each cluster. Then, of course, as I mentioned before, Canada has, even though this is a completely new experience for them, they have been quite successful in the past, in past framework programs, and also at the beginning of Horizon Europe, before association. I think the stats were saying that Canadian entities were involved in 156 Horizon Europe projects. So there is this this knowledge. I mean, it's not homogeneous across Canada. I would say some institutions have a larger experience, but those institutions can tap within their internal resources, so researchers who have participated in Horizon project, to support their own stakeholders. So I'm thinking university, but also companies as well, obviously. And then something that sometimes we also recommend is for researchers to participate, to join as evaluators. Commission is always looking for evaluators. So on the EU tenders and the portal, tenders and funding portal, there's a possibility to register as an evaluator. So you get called. So during the evaluation, basically you're have the opportunity to understand exactly how these projects are evaluated, where's the emphasis. So once you're in a position, you yourself, to present a proposal, you have a clear advantage. So yes, we will be pushing hard. We will doing also quite a bit of promotional activities to the EU delegation in Ottawa, and obviously the ISED, the Canadian government, with various sessions across the country in the coming months. So let's hope that that sorts out a good effect and we get more partnerships, companies, research institutions with Italy and all the other member states as well. So I think, unless you have additional thoughts, we have to conclude it here, because we're beyond the allotted time.
We are on allotted time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.